Yo, what's going down, everybody? It is Straight Outta Boston here, aka the King of Boston, and today back with episode 21 of the Around the League series. And today we are doing the Atlanta Hawks. Now let's get right into this video. The Atlanta Hawks are currently in 5th place in the East at 37-30. That is as of 5:36 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, the day before this video goes up. Now the Hawks in the 5th seed had a pretty good year, a bit of a surprising year in a lot of people's opinions. A lot of people did not see this team having the success of being, able to get to the playoffs. No one really, not no one, that's a lie. A lot of people did not see this coming. But, you know what, it's a decent team. Kind of go down the roster, Josh Smith, he's definitely got a character problem. I'm curious to see if the Hawks will re-sign him after this year. He thinks he's a max player. I don't know if anyone's going to offer that. Maybe the Bucks will if they have cap space. I know they're letting, if they let Monte Ellis go, they'll have some cap space. They could offer Josh Smith the max, possibly. I don't really know who's going to have the cap space to do that, but, Josh Smith is a good player. He's sometimes, he thinks he can do, he needs to know his limits. He needs to learn his limits a little bit more. When he's got his head on, screwed on straight, he's one of the best, power forwards in the NBA, I would say. He's probably a top, it's tough. When his head's screwed on straight, he's probably, either a top 5 or a top 10. That's up for debate. I don't know. It depends. When his head's screwed on straight, he is a very, very good player. He's dangerous. He can do a lot of things. One of the more versatile players in the NBA, along with the guys like LeBron James and Nicholas Batum and stuff like that. But anyway, let's move on from him. They also have guys like Al Horford. Al Horford, I think, is maybe the most underrated player in the NBA. He quietly goes under the radar and puts up like 20 and 10. Not actually. I think his career averages really before this year were like 16 and 11 or so. But he's really improved this year. He's one of the best centers in the NBA. I think that he's not on a very big contract either. He's on like a 4-year, $47 million deal. So, for the production that they're getting out of him, that's crazy. And he really, he can do a lot of things. Good mid-range game, decent post game. Can do a lot of things. Very good rebounder, very good offensive rebounder. So I really like Al Horford. I'm a big Al Horford fan. And what this team has done is surrounded those guys, those two bigs, with a lot of three-point shooters. Deshaun Stevenson, Kyle Korver, Devin Harris, John Jenkins, all really good three-point shooters. And they had Anthony Morrow for a while. They did trade him at the trade deadline for Dante Jones, which is a good deal. I think they needed another good perimeter defender if they do want to make a run in the playoffs. Jeff Teague's an interesting young point guard. I'm really curious to see if the Hawks stick with him in the coming years. I can go either way on him. I don't do so well on him with 2K, so you're going to see him struggle in this game. But he's a decent young player. He can get some steals, dish the ball out a little bit, very athletic, and can shoot the 3-ball a little bit. But, I'm not sold on him. I liked him a lot at Wake Forest. I liked him when he was drafted pretty low in the first round by the Hawks when he was drafted. But I just don't see Jeff Teague ever becoming a superstar point guard or even a star point guard. I think he could be a good, solid starter. But I think his peak might be a guy like, and I'm throwing this comparison out there as, not as stats-wise, not as play-style-wise, but as, like, peak-wise, or as, like skill level-wise, or as, like, good, I don't know how to put this, but I think his peak is like Jeremy Lin or something. I really don't see him getting any better than, like, Jeremy Lin is, really, quite frankly. I don't think Jeremy Lin's that good. A lot of people think he's that good. I don't know. In 2K terms, I'd put him, like, a 75 overall. Like, both of them is, like, their peaks. I don't know, Teague's still young, has a ways to develop, but anyway, the rest of these guys are really a lot of role players. Kyle Korver, obviously, like I mentioned, he's one of my favorite players. He's so good in 2K. He has, like, the nicest shot. I dropped, like, 20 points with him or something. I had, like, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 5 steals. Also dropped, like, 20 points with Al Horford. He went off in this game. But, this Hawks team is alright. I think they've overachieved a little bit this year. I like Lou Williams. When he's healthy, he's a good player, and he wasn't the best player. He wasn't what I thought he was going to be this year. I thought he was going to be a little bit better than he was. He was a leading scorer coming off the bench for the Sixers last year. I thought he was going to really improve in a starting role on the Hawks. He really didn't, but he was still what the Hawks needed, and that was a mini Joe Johnson, a good scorer, a guy they can go to. And, I thought it was a good move by them to sign Lou Williams. Hopefully he'll come back off of his torn ACL and be, even better than he was before. So, anyway, I like this Hawks team. It's a decent Hawks team. I certainly expected them to make the playoffs. I don't think many did. Maybe a lot of people thought they were going to be 7 or 8 seed. I could have saw them 6 or 7-ish, Not at the very bottom, but close to the bottom of the playoff picture. So, I see this team not doing too much in the playoffs, quite frankly. I look at their first-round matchups, potentially. Really, they could play anyone from... they could go, I would say, I don't think they're going to pass Indiana or New York. So I could see them going 4 through 7 in the playoff picture. That means they're going to either match up with Brooklyn, Atlanta, Chicago, Boston, and then they could potentially, you know, if they fall to 6 or 7, they could play Indiana, New York, or Miami. I really don't see Atlanta winning a playoff series. Maybe against the Bulls. The Bulls have been kind of a streaky team this year. Same with the Nets. Those are the only two guys I think they could beat. Color me biased, but I really think Boston could go far in the playoffs this year. I think that they could probably make it to the second round. I honestly think Boston can beat anyone except the Pacers or the Heat. Quite frankly, I don't know if they will, but I think they could. And because I'm a Boston fan, I'm likely going to pick them to beat anyone except the Pacers or the Heat. But, you know, you can call me biased on that one. So, I don't really think, you know, Boston's the team that people want to play at this point. They're like 16-6 in the last, you know, whatever game since Rondo got hurt. But, anyway... so yeah, that, you know, it's a good team. I don't see them winning a playoff series or anything like that, but I think that they can make some noise. They have a good base. They have some three-point shooters. I'm not sure if they'll re-sign Josh Smith, but they have Al Horford, who's a franchise centerpiece, and, you know, they got a ways to go with him, but I think that, or not a way, I mean, they have a ways to go in building around him, but I think it's a good team. I think they have a lot of cap space this summer. They're likely going to go after some guys. You know, I don't know if they're going to go after any big names. Maybe they can try to get Dwight Howard and move Al Horford to the power forward position, which is where he more naturally fits in. It's what he played in college, I believe, and Joakim Noah was center on that team. But, you know, I could see that happening. They have a lot of cap room. Dwight's from Atlanta. That, you know, would be pretty reasonable. I think that's one of the top 3 or 4 options for Dwight, quite frankly, this offseason. But anyway, yeah, so that's really what I think about the Hawks. You know, as for the rest of their guys, they have some good defensive guys like Johan Petro, Mike Scott. Deshaun Stevenson's a really good perimeter defender. Him and Dante Jones really work well in the perimeter. And I like Ivan Johnson, too. Ivan Johnson's the man. He got kicked. I think he got banned from the Korean Basketball League. But anyway, that's really what I think of the Hawks. So let me know what you guys think of them in the comment section below. You see Kyle Korver got player of the game. That's pretty much going to wrap this video. So I thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. And so I'm out. Peace.